You're listening to the Literary Lounge with Dawn Bates on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM. Well, hello everybody. How are you today? We are in for a bit of a treat today because I've got my very first guest in the studio. Her name is Louise Adams, and you won't be able to find her anywhere. I've looked. I researched. I found her on LinkedIn and on Facebook, but her name is Louise Adams, and if you search for that, guess who you get? You get Posh Spice's little sister, or little sister. So, just as a heads up, Louise and I like to chat and giggle, and if you're a bit, if you're not very woo-woo, some of the things that we might say might kind of go over your head, but listen carefully. She's done her homework, because I like to give homework. Because I want to know about the books that shape people's lives and the music and why we choose the books that we read and the music that we listen to. Now, you know that I've got a bit of a varied music taste, but what was very interesting, and this is something that keeps happening with us, isn't it, Louise? I'm going to introduce her properly in a moment, but every time I say Louise and I share something about each other, we end up going, oh, same! So I'm going to bring her mic on as well, so you'll be able to hear her as well. Can we just make sure that... Should
we test? Does that work?
You might need to sit a bit closer, I think.
Do I need to get closer? It's like being in a seance.
Ken, are you there, Sydney? Where's the toffee crisp?
Can you hear me?
Try that.
Does that work?
Yeah, that works now. I pressed a button.
Marvellous.
I don't. My guests
the
are...
joys of modern technology. The on switch.
Smack it one. We used to just smack the back of the TV in my day, or the back of the bass unit, and it worked.
It did.
Amazing what a good smack does. Not that I'm encouraging violence or anything.
Not at all. But TVs can get it.
Yeah. And sometimes your laptop.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Louise and we met at a Chambers Wales event at number one.
Yes, we did.
Central Square, wasn't it?
Yes, it was the building I couldn't find.
Yeah, we did.
So you're lucky I found you.
I was walking around for about 5 minutes outside going, where is this? Probably the biggest building in the town square.
It's huge.
Not a town square, sorry, I do apologise. And the comment that I made that connected it was, well, I've told my boys I don't want to be a grandmother until at least the age of 55. And Louise had just become a grandmother.
I did, and I was full of excitement. And I did the opposite. I was like, oh my God, wait till you're a nana. Wait till you're nana. It's the best feeling in the world.
I've got to get my stuff, I've got to get my together before I become a grandma.
Who says I'm together? Nutty nana.
Nutty nana. So tell us a bit about yourself then, Louise, because, you know, I just love this lady so much. She's actually my first friend here in Cardiff. So, yeah, she's very special.
So, I'm multifaceted, that's for sure. So, which is incredibly, which is funny actually, not being searchable on social media or visible is because how do I describe myself? So, many different ways. So, I've got two companies. I've got a training company called Petals Training, and I teach people accredited teaching, assessing and IQA qualifications. And what that means in English is that I help people set up their own training academies, teach them how to teach, give them the qualification, and off they go. So it's as wide as it's long. So I could have fire service, I could have NHS, I could have individuals come to my courses to basically further their careers, which is brilliant, and I love that. And then the other side of me, which is longer actually, is 25 years, and I was saying earlier, I still don't have a website. It's being built, the longest procrastination on record. So I've been a therapist, a healer, and a homeopath. So for nearly 25 years, more recently the homeopath. Working in end-of-life care in Velindre Cancer Centre in Cardiff for a long time, and the Teenage Cancer Trust. And I had my own clinic in Bupa, I think back in 2003, 2004 for a few years. and very much specialised in women's health accidentally. And that kind of work came to me, so I very quickly became known for infertility, endometriosis, polycystic ovaries, and I've studied it ever since as a therapist and more recently as a homeopath. So I'm writing a book about endometriosis.
Ooh.
So I will be talking to you more about that for sure. And I run both companies side by side, but in between I am a nana. I'm a nutty nana.
Best way to be.
Oh, it's the best, honestly. He's 7 months old now, he's gorgeous. And I am the eternal optimist. I live life smiling. I really do. It's my energy. Probably drives people crackers.
See, I get that, because someone said to me, everything that you've been through and all the stuff you research, why are you still so giggly? I'm like, because I get to wake up. I mean, I will be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I've had a pretty dark start to the week. Like, I mean, it was the time of the month, so that's always, I don't leave the house unless I'm walking Chewy, who was very excited to see Louise this morning, I have to say. She honestly, she's talk about nutters, the three of us here.
Brilliant.
Apparently that's not a very politically correct thing to say.
No.
I'm not allowed to say a lot of the things I want to say.
Same, yeah, I struggle with it actually. And I think it's our age as well.
Well, I do, but I do think it's political correctness gone wrong, because
gone bonkers.
you can never be politically correct because they keep changing the goalposts. It's like jumpers for goalposts.
It is.
So those of you who are of our generation will know the reference, jumpers for goalposts, because of the skit show. I've just remembered I better put my phone on Do Not Disturb, because we don't want anyone to disturb this conversation, I can tell you. So, Louise, because you're very similar, you're working with people who are in really challenging, quite stressful and upsetting situations in their life, and you are full of the joys of spring, and like the energy that we create from within us, but also from nature and being out there. I mean, when you've had a particularly traumatic thing that you've seen at work or you've helped somebody through, what's your go-to?
Always nature. Always. So when my daughter was younger, which is when I was working in end-of-life care, I would come off the wards, go and pick up my daughter from childcare, and always either go to the beach or go to a park. We've got a big park in Barry. Go to this big park, provided the weather was good. And I would always say to her, right, you do your homework outside in fresh air, in nature. Let's do your homework now. I'm going to do my bit of work, which is usually to ground myself after one of those days. Maybe just to lie there and do some meditation, but just being with nature. I am that person. A friend noticed the other day that I'll be walking along and I'm so aware of nature. I feel it. And I'll be walking along. I could be walking along the busiest street in a concrete jungle, and I'll find a leaf or find a flower, and I'll literally bend over and go, oh, look at that. And I was like it with a friend the other day, and I touched this leaf and she laughed. She was like, where did you find that? I said, it's above us, look. And one of the things I often say, especially to young people, because I work with young people as well, is look up. Because we're looking down all the time. We're looking at our phones. We're looking at our laptops.
Oh, I'm not.
Absolutely.
I'm the crazy lady dancing with singing with my arms in the air. Yeah, we do.
My saying is look up.
Yeah.
Because when we look up, there's life around us.
See, I actually took a photograph on my way to the gym yesterday, because I was like, you know what, I need to go to the gym. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym, but I need to go to the gym. And I believe that a lot of people need to understand that distinction, the need and the want.
Absolutely.
What your body needs, you give it. Not what you want to give it, what your body is calling for. So, for example, sometimes when you get really thirsty, you're like, oh, and then you drink that water. You think you're only going to have a couple of sips, but you down a pint of water.
Yes.
Now, I do tend to drink water with apple cider vinegar in it with the mother.
Yeah.
But last night when I was on the way to the gym, I looked up and the sun was through the dark clouds, and I was like, do you know what? That is just a symbol of the beginning of my week.
Yeah.
I was still shining.
Yes.
I was still working on the business, not in it.
Yes.
As something that Louise and I have been discussing, that we're both working a lot in the back end of our business, which is quite unusual for the pair of us, because we are very forward facing, very much dealing with our clients and, you know, supporting them and encouraging them and helping them grow. Obviously Louise through methodologies and me through the writing. But it was I thought, you know what, and I had to take a picture of it and share it on the gram. Went through to Facebook as well, or Bookface as I prefer to call it, because you know what, folks, if you're going to do something, do it once and do it properly. I connected the both, so whatever goes on the gram will automatically feed through to the Bookface. And I went to that class. I had such a great session.
Good.
And I actually realised I'd actually increased the weights this time.
Good.
And I'd actually managed to do more reps. But if I hadn't have gone, I'd have just sat at home feeling sorry for myself.
Of course, yeah.
And I wonder how many people do that.
All the time. I would say most of the patients I meet and treat will say that. You know, and it's the same for food, which is a big part of, well, I say big part, is some of my work. With people who'll say, one of the things I'll say to them is, are you really hungry? Tune into your body. We don't tune into our bodies anymore.
No.
And that's, for me, what nature allows me to do. When I'm out in nature, I'm not munching on sweets and chocolate, which I do when I'm at home.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get that boredom kicks in, and we've all done it, we all stand at the fridge, open the fridge and the cupboards and go, right, what can I have? But when you're out in nature, when you're plugged into what's around us and look up, we just don't get those same reflexes. It's completely different, isn't it?
It is. So moving on to the things that we do to avoid the boredom. Now, one of the things I do is I read. And someone said to me once, oh, you're just doing it to avoid. I'm like, I am so not. No. Gosh, like, I actually joined, and I'm actually going to I've invited Paige to come on the show. So I went to a new book club this week.
Oh, wow.
Up at Kin and Ilk in Pontcanna. And they do loose tea.
They do loose tea.
I was so impressed.
Beautiful tea. That's one of our future meetups.
That is. Louise and I are going to go. So Kin and Ilk. Thank you.
Absolutely.
But they do writing and book clubs. And I was like, well, I've got to go. I've got to go to these places. I'm still learning about Cardiff, by the way. And I do sometimes get frustrated with Cardiff, because I sometimes feel that the people who are running it forget that they're running a capital city.
Yes.
And I do get frustrated, like tidy up the Taft Trail.
That's right.
Last night on the way back, the weeds were over by about 1.5 meters, and then if you've got a cyclist, then you're kind of as a walker.
Absolutely.
But again, I was like, oh, look at this plant, look at this. Oh, that's so pretty. And looking at the ladybugs, and I love it when butterflies and ladybugs and dragonflies land on me.
Stunning.
And then I'm like, okay, my vibration is good.
Yes, they choose you.
They do.
They do, yeah, you're right.
And I'm really interested in what books have you chosen, because I've asked Louise what are her top 5 books of all time. So she's going to share those with us. And then she's going to give us her favourite piece of music. So we've got about 10 minutes for the next ad. So what book would you share with us first?
So what I've realised, actually, looking at my books, I am as eclectic with my books as I am with my music and everything else. I don't have a style. But what I realise, actually, looking at these books, is they almost map an evolution of my life's work, which is my healing work, which is really interesting. But it's also, they go through the stories of, which is very, mirrors my work, really, working with people through illness, through loss, through healing, meaning and intuition and transformation, which is everything that I work with. So the first one I picked, actually, was Cancer is Not a Disease, by Andreas Moritz.
Ooh, that's a controversial title.
It is a controversial title, and I love controversial as well.
Me. That's why we're friends.
This is exactly why we're friends, because I think it does. You know, we live in a very contrasting world. We do. Yeah. We know what's good for us, and yet we follow what's bad for us.
Yep.
You know, we do. It's human nature. But this one was interesting because I've worked in cancer care for many years in as I said, Philindra Cancer Centre and the Teenage Cancer Trust. And obviously you've got a responsibility there to work with the guidelines. You know, we were complementary therapists working with reflexology, aromatherapy, Reiki healing. So we were already honoured to be in that position. So a book like this, I would never recommend to a patient for obvious reasons. But it was when I'd stepped out of that work and I was working more towards becoming the homeopath that I was looking at, you know, what books land for me. And whenever, and what I love about books for me, they literally land at my feet.
Yep.
So I've been in a bookstore in Glastonbury years and years ago when I'd done my Reiki 1 training, and I was sat on the floor and a Reiki 1 book fell out at the end of the store, you know?
Yeah.
Or I'll go in a shop, literally Enid Blyton's, some of the fairy stories, and I was telling my daughter once, and I said, oh, I love The Magic Faraway Tree, it's one of my favourite books. And there it was on the bread aisle. Someone had left it on the bread aisle in Morrison's. You know, that's my world. So this one actually was gifted to me. And I think after many years of working in cancer care, what resonated deeply with this book is the invitation to look beyond the symptoms and the disease name. I've always done that. So in my work as a healer, I'm not looking at the word cancer at all. I'm looking at what is the body doing to seek balance and healing. You know, what has gone wrong, what has that cell done, why doesn't it fit? You know, why is it wandering around causing carnage? So my work as the healer is very much about working on the mental, emotional, physical and spiritual side. So this book for me just invited me to go underneath the cancer and say, well, why is that there? My biggest question as a healer is why.
Definitely.
Always.
It's the best question.
And it keeps me curious. It's what has kept me going for 25 years as a healer, is that curiosity is endless. So for me, that I think that book reinforced my belief that we treat the whole person. We're not focusing solely on symptoms. In fact, really we are as homeopaths and healers. And it deepened my compassion. You know, you're working with people with life-limiting illnesses. And for me, this book just went under that a little bit more. So very different from my other choices, but one that's a very
I absolutely agree. And if you were to put a song with that, which one would you put with it?
Oh, if I put a song with that one, let me have a look, because I did write down
She's got pages of homework, ladies and gentlemen. Pages.
What would it be?
Love it.
So if I had a song, I think it's this one, because I love this song. So it's by Sarah Bareilles. She Used to Be Mine.
Okay.
And the reason I've chosen it is because I've sat with countless people who've lost themselves along the way.
Yeah.
And you lose yourself with cancer. And this song for me gets me every time. I could sob listening to this.
Okay, well, I'm going to play it. I don't know where the tissues are. Oh, there's a big roll of tissue sat next to her, as if by magic. So this is going to be Sarah Bareilles, and she used to be mine. Let's see if this works today, ladies and gentlemen. It should do, because I had training from Dawn.
Is it not playing nice?
It's not working, ladies and gentlemen. It might be because Dawn's probably put the wrong one in. So let's have a look to make sure I've got the right bloody lead. Oops, sorry, the right lead. Oops, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I don't mean to offend with my smutty mouth, but, you know, I did read the Miriam Margot's book recently. But and we all know how much I love that one. Let's see if this one works. No, that's not working either. Don, I'm going to need you to come back in. So let me just play this. I'm really sorry for all of you audiophiles out there. Goodness gracious. We're going to have to be quiet, Louise, and listen to this. No chit-chatting in the background. That is a very powerful song. Very beautiful. Wow. No words.
Gets me every time.
I can see why. And whilst I was holding my phone up to the mic, because I'm so very technical and I can pivot very quickly, I saw Don's little note that tells me how to make that work from the phone. So, woo! Next time, guys, we're going to be getting there, I'm telling you. I know I've been here a while, and I know I've done half on remotely. But this studio business, goodness gracious. And do you know what's really interesting? I actually just had the moment, I've got a guest in the studio with me. I had that moment to myself, because as many of those of you who've been following my journey and have seen my bio on the Radio Cardiff website, you'll have known that for nearly 30 years I was the guest in the studio. And it's just now come full circle. Yeah.
How wonderful. What a realisation.
Yeah. I was God, wow. Does that make me a real radio host now?
It does.
But that's the thing. I remember when I was about to sail down the Amazon, when I was following the human trafficking routes through Latin America, and just having a bit of a mad one, because it wasn't all research. I mean, it was, because I have to obviously go follow the trade routes by water, not just by air. Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, but no. And see, this is the thing about our work. People think that my work was dangerous, but I didn't see the danger.
Yeah, I love that.
And I think that because, like you, I see people.
Yes.
I see more than the person they're presenting.
Yeah.
And that level of looking beyond the word of cancer, looking beyond the person and their immediate situation, it brings about this level of empathy. And I mean, I did actually, when I was sharing this with someone recently about how they're like, what was the moment you realised you needed to actually come away from that level of research? Because I'm not the person who's going to write a book and use ChatGPT ever. And I'm certainly not going to just read research that's been researched from research by reading. I love books and I love researching, but I do believe you actually have to go to the place, live it, breathe it, eat it, dance to it, sing with it, move with it. Yeah. And I was lying in bed one night when I was in Costa Rica, and I heard an assassination. Wow. And I knew it was an assassassination. And I went, there it goes, there's an assassination. Straight back to sleep again. Sorry for snoring so loudly on the radio there. But yeah, and
that's full immersion, isn't it?
Yeah, because you know it's an assassination by the way in which it's done. Yeah. It's not a drive-by. No. It's not random.
No, it's controlled.
It was a controlled one shot done.
Wow.
And you know when it's a one shot, it's either in the heart or in the head.
Of course, yeah.
And I was like, okay. I went straight back to sleep. Yeah. Because I wasn't scared, because I knew it wasn't mine.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
I've always had this thing, it's not mine, return to sender.
Yes, which very much is my work in cancer care.
Yeah.
Because people said to me all the time, oh, God, Lou, that must have been so sad. Or, God, Lou, that must have been exhausting. It never was. I never burnt out.
Because it's not mine.
It's not mine.
Yeah.
It was never mine.
So, and this is the thing, like when someone says something to you that you don't like, or if somebody insults you, or if your parents want to blame you, I always say, return to sender. Anybody in your family, it's not yours. It's their ancestral, it's been taken through the generations, and, it's lineal. So you can, it's like junk mail. We don't want junk mail. We put it in spam. I mean, who wants to eat that?
It's true.
But it's just a return to sender. Block it. It's not mine. So when we use, and it's almost, how many of us do that every day? Block something or block someone on, but they don't block that energy.
No, that's
right. And
right.
so this has been a really interesting journey for me, as my body's been changing over the last couple of years since I've been back in Britain, because I'm not in nature as much as I was when I was travelling, because I was always on the ocean. Yeah. I was also always by the sea. Yeah. And even though I'm by the sea here in Cardiff, it's not the same as
it's different. It's
really different.
It's different, and I think it's
the water's not. I'm not getting in that water.
Exactly, and I think there's that thing in nature as well for me. It's the standing joke with me. I don't wear a watch. Never have done.
No.
I don't like them. I don't like being controlled by time.
No.
And the amount of people over the years have said to me, Lou, what time is it? And I go, now.
Yeah.
The time is now.
Or I look up at the sun.
Look at the sun.
Yeah.
And I'll say, oh, it's about 2:30 by looking at the sun.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've lost that connection.
Yeah,
I
we
haven't.
have. I haven't.
I haven't, but a lot of people have. And that's
Yeah.
part of our resilience, I think, is being able to plug back in, take your watch off, take your phone away, look at...
I don't even own one. And do you know, actually, it's quite interesting because whenever I did own a watch, it would either go really, really stupidly fast or it would break within like weeks.
Same.
And I was like, what's the point?
Same, yeah.
See, we're doing the same.
We're doing it again.
The same. Everything. And we are on half the hour, so I am going to play the pink ads. I find this interesting. We have pink ads, we have brown ads, we have green ads, we have blue ads. So at the moment, I'm going to play the pink ads. So these are just for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be quiet. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come up with. We've just been having a quick chat about Louise's next book. Now, I am really excited for this one because I've never heard of any of these books that Louise is suggesting, and what I find really amusing a lot of the time is that people go, "Oh, you're an author. Do you know this person? Have you read this book?" And I just think that's like going into a rave in the 90s and saying, "Oh, have you seen so-and-so? He's really skinny, bald head, and he's got Adidas trainers on." Like, narrow it down, will you? They've all got skinhead with Adidas trainers on with a sweaty top. Like, seriously. So what's this next book that you've got for us, Louise?
So this next book, I love this book. So this one's called Mutant Message Down Under by Marlo Morgan. And I think it's more the reason I love this book, and I've read it a few times.
The title?
Yeah, it's straight away. I look at titles and go, I want to know what that is.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Mutant Message Down Under? What the hell does that mean? So this is set with the Aborigine tribes. Now, as a homeopath, as a clinical aromatherapist, you know, I'm working with medicine, especially homeopathic medicine. You know, my wish, my dream is, and I've got two dreams. One is to go into the Aborigine tribes. One is to go into the African tribes, go back in and see what their medicine is and see if I can bring some of it.
Does this mean we're going to do Africa together?
Of course it does. Absolutely it does. But you know we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So for me, I've always been fascinated by Indigenous wisdom. We are losing that Indigenous wisdom.
Yeah, we are.
And it drives me mad. Years ago, I trained in Hopi ear candling.
Oh, I love Hopi ear
There
candles.
we go. So it's from the Hopi tribe. But I made sure every training I've ever had has been so pure. You know, so I travel for my training. I really do. I travel far and wide.
Like I travel for my research.
Exactly.
If you're going to do it, find it from the source.
And you imagine the Hopi tribe curling up these candles, and then I'm using them as the healer in my practice. It's just divine. And the homeopathic medicine for me is the same. But what touched me is it's the values that are woven through the story. So this reporter, if you like, news reporter, is following the Indigenous tribe, and in order to follow them, they have to get rid of all her belongings to start the journey. They literally get rid of her phone, they throw it in a fire. It's a very dramatic start to the book.
Very purifying.
Very purifying, and then she's immersed in it, and actually she talks of almost being abducted by them at one point.
Oh, my body is full of tingles right now.
It's stunning.
And if any of you are, I mean, I'm pretty sure some of you will be resonating with this right now, and if you're in your office, obviously don't do this while you're driving, but if you want to text the show, the number is 07354 770 837. That number again, a little bit slower, 07354 770 837. Carry on while my body just recalibrates
You've
itself.
got to read this book.
I am going to, because I've got a story to tell you about when I was in Darwin with the Aborigines.
I can't wait. Oh, I need to know this. But this is about the tribes and the profound respect they have for the natural world, and they understand how to be part of nature rather than separate from it. It makes me cry reading it. It really does. But for me as well, it's how the leadership was shared. It's got so many different facets to this story. So each day, a different member of the tribe leads. There is no leader. Every single day they change. It's not about status. It's not about power. There's no hierarchy. It's about recognising everyone has gifts. They've all got wisdom. They've all got something valuable to contribute. And there's a lesson in that, I think, for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's divine in terms of the lesson. But one of the things that really stuck with me is the tribes have been pushed inland, away from the traditional coast, because they don't want to get seen. You know, they're given grog, aren't they, to put them back into... Back in there, have your alcohol, we'll get you drunk, let's send you back into your forest kind of thing.
And then they tell the Aborigines what they need rather than understanding who they are as a people and who they are.
They know what
they
need,
know, but
they've been drugged by us, by the Western
haven't
world.
We all?
Exactly, haven't we all? I mean, we could go on that one.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole for later.
Absolutely.
That's the Literary Lounge Unfiltered, ladies and gentlemen. It is coming.
But for me, they lost access to fishing. So they adapted. But what I love about them is they adapt to the way of life that's presented to them, which is a gift in itself. That's tenacity. That's sort of survival instinct in itself. But there was a part that stayed with me, and they placed their hands on the earth, and working with telepathy, they feel the animal that's ahead of them that they will, work with to feed off the animal, but every part of the animal is used. It's revered, it's thanked, it's praised, and that connection to nature for me is just and the telepathic connection. People think of me as being woo-woo. I'm as far as woo-woo as you can get. I'm very grounded in what I do as a healer. We've got these innate gifts of wisdom. We've got our intuition for a very good reason.
Even Einstein acknowledged all of these.
Exactly.
But because he was a scientist, no one said it was woo-woo.
Exactly
and
that.
Everything that so when I was in Darwin, ladies and gentlemen, we'd missed the boat because there was a boat delivery. There was a part that we were waiting for a boat delivery when we were in Port Douglas. And so we didn't get to go over to the next port that we're going. So I joined the ARC rally, and we sailed round to Darwin, and then we were going to go over to Asia for the Ambon races. Wow. I would love to have done that. We'll do it one day probably. So I spent some time in Darwin, and I went and stayed in this... it's called the Green Frog.
Okay.
And it used to be like a truck stop, and all that went with that.
Yes.
Rooms by the hour kind of thing. Yes. But then the Aborigines took over, and they healed the land. Wow. And they created a really nice, relaxing space. There were like water pools. I'm feeling. But I went to a museum with lots of Aboriginal art, and I just remember standing in front of the artwork, crying.
Yes,
I would. The textures, the vibrational frequencies that you pick up off their artwork. Yeah. And I remember standing there, and this lady, she was mama.
Wow. They're alive, aren't
they? They are, like, the Aboriginal people, they are such a gift to this world.
I agree.
And what resonated with me a little bit later on, and that was when I was in Latin America, and I was working with the indigenous shamans in just outside of Medellin, up in the mountains of Santa Catarina. Wow. And it was interesting because when my son and I were in the Balkans last year, I saw the beach where I'd been working with one of the shamans in the Fast and Furious movie.
No way.
And all the work that I'd been doing with them came forth.
Yeah.
And what I'm going through now is what the shaman told me I would be going through, and I hadn't put one and one together. Yeah. So everything you're saying there, and then again in the indigenous tribes in Canada.
We have access to this wisdom ourselves.
Exactly, but we refuse it, and we push these people away and say we need to rob you of this.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to say something probably controversial here. Big Pharma's not going to make any money from it, are they?
Absolutely. There's no money in wellness.
No, there isn't. It's sick care.
It is.
It's not healthcare. It's sick care.
Absolutely.
But so what song are we putting with that then, Louise?
So
before we get off down another rabbit
otherwise
hole.
We'll go down there. Unfinished Sympathy by Massive Attack. And this, for me, the reason I put it with this is the song is timeless.
Yeah.
There is something haunting. There's almost spiritual about it. So enjoy. It's beautiful.
Yes. Let's hope Dawn gets it right this time. Has she got it right? I'm following the instructions, Dawn. You're listening to The Literary Lounge with Dawn Bates on Radio Cardiff 98.7 FM. Folks, I worked it out! I'm so excited. I even did like a little dance on my chair. I didn't stand up and do a dance because there's not really that much room for me to dance about in here. But, oh my goodness, I worked it out and I really am going to get that book. And just to let you know, all of the books that we're mentioning here, they will be in all the show notes out on my YouTube channel and all on my podcasting platforms. And if you do follow me on the gram, which is Ms. Dawn Bates International, or just Dawn Bates on Bookface, and it's Dawn Bates FRSA on LinkedIn. Again, all the show notes. But if you do want to text the show, anything that's resonating with you today, it's 07354 770 Now, Louise has got another book for us. So tell us about this book then, Louise, and why did it matter and make such a difference to you?
Okay, so this one, it's called The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. So straight away, another title that I look at and think, right, tell me more. I need to know what this is all about.
I want to know who they are. I want to prep.
Who are they?
Dinner's on the table.
Absolutely. And again, this is very much in line with my end-of-life care work. But also, I've always been fascinated with what comes next. Where are we going? You know, what's after this world? What happens when we go to sleep? That kind of thing. And it's always held a fascination with me. And I think what this book does, it offers such a beautiful and compassionate way of inviting us to look at that. And I've always had that thing, and we were talking about this earlier, how you meet somebody, like we did, you meet somebody and go, in the meeting we had that day, it was like, as soon as I'd met you and realised that's why I was there that day, I went home. I didn't even stay for coffee with everybody else and hobnob and do the things I should have been doing. I was like, oh, that's what I
hate that
for.
Word, should.
I know, isn't it? It should be banned.
Yeah.
She says twice. It's one of those words, isn't it? Now you say it, it's the elephant in the room. I keep saying it. So it was that idea, and what the book explores is that the smallest interactions in life can have the most profound consequences, and that our lives are woven together. And I've always said this, you know, a lot of the people I met, I've met along the way, there's always been, for me, almost a profound feeling of like, oh, that's why I was meant to meet that person. And over the years, you hear these sayings, you know, people are for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, that kind of thing, and we hear that a lot. And this takes that deeper. It's those interactions we have with complete strangers, you know, that are allegedly random, but they're not.
And that's quite a challenge here in Wales, because people say to me, "Why did you come to Wales?" And I'm too chatty to be in England.
Absolutely.
I don't really think I'm that English, to be honest.
You're not.
No.
You're Welsh.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, honorary Welsh.
Well, I tell you what, honorary. When I lived in Sheffield, it takes a lot to be called a Sheffield person.
Yeah.
But Toby Foster, hilarious guy. If you don't know who Toby Foster is, he's a comedian, but he's also a Radio Sheffield DJ.
Okay.
And he called me an honorary Sheffield lass. And I tell you what, I nearly fell over.
Love it. But no, it's that thing, you know, everyone we meet has some kind of significance and imprint. And I've always seen that, even as a young child. I was always very curious, always in awe of people, you know, why have I met you? And the question why is very much in my vocab. You know, it really is a big part of kind of my existence. But it's what the book taught me was that every person we meet has significance along the way. That there is meaning in both joy and suffering, which is what I would see in end-of-life care. They were some of the most beautifully profound moments of the honour of being at the end of somebody's life and seeing the love in the room, the joy, the feeling of absolute connectivity between these people, knowing full well they were going to be saying goodbye. And for me, that book is, you know, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven is exactly that. It's looking back at your life and saying, oh, well, that's why I met you. It's almost like having a chat at the pearly gates, so to speak, and saying, well, why did I meet you? So, for instance, why did I meet Dawn? And we're about to find that out over the next years, I'm sure we are. And there will be conversations that we'll have that will kind of go, oh, that's why that happened that day. Oh, that's why I was in the studio that day. And for me, it's all the burnt toast theory. Have you heard of that?
No.
Oh, this is brilliant. So,
don't live in Century Wharf if you burn toast. God, the firearms in that place go off.
Exactly.
Honestly, seriously.
But for me, it's that thing. The burnt toast theory is when you burn your toast, you're late that day. You've missed a car crash.
Oh, is that what that's called?
Yes.
So
it's called the burnt toast theory.
I like that because I'm that person that if you get on a bus, a train or a plane and you are so obsessed with sitting in that particular seat and you delay everybody. Now, one, you're very privileged if all you've got to worry about is that chair.
Of course.
You're on the plane, you're on the bus, or you're on the train, you've got a seat, just sit down and just deal with it. But I also appreciate that some people have to see out the window.
Yes.
I appreciate that some people have to be near the bathroom and they also need to be near a fire exit. I do appreciate that and I do respect that. But sometimes when you're late or you've forgotten your keys or you, like today, like totally threw off my because Chewie and I, we have a routine. We get up and we go for a walk to the radio station. And, and I was like, oh, I've got a lift in today. This is lovely. Chewie's just like, yeah, what's going on? But I nearly left my phone
There we go.
on the kitchen unit and I had to go back and get it.
Because you're out of that routine.
I'm out of that routine.
Absolutely.
And normally I'm the person who plans to be spontaneous.
Yes. Yeah.
That's bizarre for a lot of people to understand,
I
but
get
it's
that.
like I have stuff to do, and this is why I don't have notifications on my phone.
Yeah.
Like no emails, no messages,
Don't tell
no
me what to do next.
No,
Yeah,
my time is
absolutely.
my time.
Absolutely.
So what are these? Who are these 5 people then?
So
And why 5? Did it say why 5?
It didn't really, but I think it's because the book had to finish at some point.
Yeah.
So they could only talk about 5.
Oh, I was thinking, why haven't we got 3? 3's my number. 3 or 7.
We'll have to ask them to rewrite it.
Yes,
just for you.
absolutely.
But what it was for me is that our actions create ripples far beyond what we see.
Yeah, they do.
And that, for me, is why the book was so powerful. And we talk about the burnt toast theory. I had a head-on collision many, many years ago. Could have been a lot worse. But in the moment of impact, I reversed my car. Now, when the police got there, they said, have you got the reactions of a ninja? Because how on earth did you do that? Because in the moment of the impact and knowing what was to come, which was the lorry, the wagon rather, had overturned. Now he would have overturned and landed on my bonnet.
Gosh.
But in the instinct in me to reverse out of that crash. Now, if I was to meet that person in heaven, what conversations would we have? And it was the feeling of oh my goodness, that's the burnt toast theory. This is very much what this book is about. And for about a week or 2 later, I avoided 3 crashes. I was 2 cars behind on every single crash. And on every single one of those days, I wasn't in a routine. I was in manana almost. I was concussed actually from the original crash.
Yeah.
And there was that feeling of like, what do I need to listen to here? Slow down.
Do you know, just love everything you're saying here, because people have forgotten to listen to their intuition.
Absolutely.
And people say, well, how do you know? I'm like, I just know.
Listen, yeah.
And I don't know how I know these things. Like, I remember coaching somebody, again from Australia. We were doing Coach the Coach. She was one of the coaches coaching us to do the Coach the Coach.
Yeah.
And she said we were discussing children. And I'd said, so your 2 children. And she just went deadly quiet. And I was like, okay. I've hit something there.
Yeah.
And I just sat with it. I just sat in the silence with her while she gathered herself. And that's all I'd said, because I felt the energy shift completely. And it turns out that only her mother knew that she'd had another child.
Wow.
But I knew all of these years later.
Yeah.
Because I listen, I know things, and I'll change a direction that I'm going in,
Yeah.
or I think this is the gift that we get as a healer.
Yeah.
Whether we're doing it through homeopathy or the training that you're doing, and the end of life care that you've done, or me using the tools that I have, like the past life regressions that I do, as well as the writing, and I do. We listen to the nothingness, which tells you everything.
It does. We listen to the signs. That's it. It's innate in all of us.
I always say my voice is louder when I write.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, inside voice, out it comes on paper.
Oh, God. And parents, please teach your children the indoor and outdoor voices. It's a different kind of voice, but also it's not. So what song are we going to play with that one then, Louise?
So with this one, I've got Say Something, which is Christina Aguilera in A Great Big World, and this one touches my soul. And it comes from my love of piano, because I used to be a piano player when I was a child. But it's the space between the notes. It's the rawness of the vocals and the orchestral build. So for me, it's just that book.
So this is Say Something by Christina.
It's beautiful.
Christina Aguilera.
This is Christina Aguilera in A Great Big World. So it was a duet. And I actually went to see her in concert.
Did you?
And I was waiting for this song. I was like, please do this song, please. And I just melt in the moment. It's the harmony. And again, it's that harmony. It's the essence of everything they're building between them, and listening to each other, listening for their next piece.
Okay, so harmonies are always about frequency. Now, I'm not going to go too deep down the rabbit hole, but I sometimes worry about music that I'm playing because of the hertz frequency that it's played at and how that messes with my natural frequency. So this is another reason why I go out into nature. But I saw something yesterday. I was doing a bit of research about why the church bells have been removed. I'm going to leave you with that, and we're going to play this tune, A Great Big World, and Christina Aguilera, Say Something. Hang on, let's just multitask. Why is that not working this time? Hang on a second, folks. It worked last time. Now I've got to figure out why it's not working. Okay, so I've got the blue lead in. It's all working lovely here. And red is the mic, off is auxiliary. So it should be working. No, it's decided not to. Hang on. Do you know, it's like a blooming Tetris thing. It's like, if I do this one, and okay, so that's got to be off, that's gone on. Turn off for the auxiliary. You're learning with me, folks. Bear with. I just had it. I just did it. What the holy...
I mean, it's called Say Something. We're just waiting for it to say something, aren't we?
Yeah. Oh, ya Rab. Ida. Now you're going to hear me swear in Arabic. Bear with. I'm just going to play it through the phone again. Hang on. Oh, it does. So I was a bit late there, ladies and gentlemen, with the news. Do apologise, and sorry to Ofcom as well. Gosh, get so carried away with these books and this music and chit-chatting with Louise. Okay, so I think I figured it out. I was reading the wrong instructions. There's labels on this mixer because the other one is still broken. So we're going to go for it next time. I've got everything lined up. So when we go for the next song, we're going to raise the tempo. We're going to really start taking you into the weekend because this is our final hour of the show. Can you believe an hour has already gone? Oh, remember, if you do want to text into the show, it is 07354 770 So, Louise, you have another book for us.
I do. So, this book, I love this book. I've read this a couple of times as well. So, this one is called The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry by Rachel Joyce. I love this. Such an easy to read. So at first glance, simple story about a man who just decides to walk.
Yeah.
He just walks. But for me, it was a profound lesson in courage, intuition, which is what we're talking about, and trusting in the journey, which I talk about a lot in my healing work. You know, it's sometimes, and it's quite cliched, not about the journey, it's about the destination, or vice versa.
Yep.
You know, depending on what that person's going through. But what I love about this, and it's something we've just been talking about, Harold, who does the walk-in, doesn't have a detailed plan. He doesn't. He just walks. He simply follows his inner knowing, and one step becomes another, then another.
That's how I travelled the world by sailboat for 8 years.
Exactly that.
I never knew where I was going.
And I adore that, and I think that's why I love the book, because for me, as much as, you know, I've been a lone parent all of my daughter's life, so I've always been that parent who knows that you have to have a sense of structure and routine. But my daughter, I mean, she's 29 now. We talked about it the other day, how much, despite having that routine, she never would have realised, because every day was different. I would drive her home from school a different way every day. We would go to a different place every day, you know. So she lived her whole childhood with that sense of, where are we going? And I was like, just trust the journey.
Do you know, I think that I've got to stop saying I think. It's not very confident, is it? Since I've been back, I've had more routine than I've ever had. And I believe there was a part of me that was scared about putting down roots.
Of course.
Even though I wanted to.
Yeah.
I wanted a community. I wanted somewhere where I felt like I could belong.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had that.
Yeah. It's a human
Not
need.
even as a child. I didn't feel that I belonged in my family.
Yeah.
And I know that, and I'm quite open about this because I know that other people feel the same.
Of course, and it's one of the biggest things I treat as a healer and homeopath is the physical manifestation of not belonging. You know,
that rejection of the love of the main caregivers.
Absolutely.
And this comes back because we were talking about sales for the business and like appointment settings, and you know how challenging it's been for us working on the business in the background rather than you know up front.
All the things we hate.
I really need to hire a fractional CEO to run it, the operations and everything, and just show up and do my thing,
isn't it?
But when you are someone who... So I know what... I have certain things I do each day.
Yes.
And so I have to have my reading time.
Yeah.
I have to have my journaling time.
Lovely.
I like to create the vision for the business.
Good.
But I know that if I want to take the business to this next level... implement all of these things that I have done, I need to have a base of some kind. But here I am planning a road trip to Mongolia. I'm planning a road trip through Africa.
Yeah.
You know, how can you do that when you're Derek, my friend? I did see him again this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and I did say to him, "You are coming on the show, Derek." And I've already told the listeners. He goes, "But I don't read, Dawn." I went, "Yeah, but that's one of the things we need to talk about. We really need to talk about you." And if you're listening, Derek, I can hear you laughing.
But this is the very part of the book. This is why this book for me is so powerful. You don't have to have everything figured out to take the next step. This is what Harold Fry does. He doesn't know what's happening. He has no idea what the next step will be.
Sounds like me most of the time in the studio.
But do you know what? Healing happens when we move forward. Yeah. This is everything I stand for in the healing work that I do, is that nobody is stuck. Yes, we can feel stuck. We are stuck with an illness, stuck with our mental health. But through my work, I teach people, I guide them back to themselves, the part of them that isn't stuck, the part of them that even with a leg that doesn't work properly, that, you know, we can still move forward. There is still that opportunity. So I love what you say there.
Yeah, and it takes me back. It just reminded me of Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural.
Yes.
And how he'd had those injuries.
Yes.
And instead of him going for the surgeries and opting for the surgery, and every surgeon and every doctor was telling him, "You need this," he was like, "No, I don't. I'm going to listen to my body."
Absolutely.
And he completely rejected it and went to his friends, was laid up in bed, and he just focused all his energies on the part of his body that wasn't working.
Yes.
And we get so caught up in what everybody else is saying or everybody else's advice, but we forget to listen to ourselves.
Absolutely. It's interesting, actually. It's one of my reasons I became the homeopath, because I was working in cancer care, working in end-of-life care, and got very, very poorly. To this day, there is still technically no reason for it in lots of ways. But I found a way through homeopathic medicine, eventually, after trying every discipline going. Why am I ill? My cancer markers were high. They were actively looking for cancer. And I'm working in a cancer hospital, you know, sharing this with my consultant, saying, what is going on? They're like, Lou, we're looking for it actively. We just can't find it yet. And I did exactly
your environment.
that. Exactly that. So I stepped out. I took 6 to 8 weeks of real healing work. I've actually taking on board everything I teach others for the last 20 years or 25 years and applying it myself and actually working to get rid of the cancerous cells that were showing up in my bloods. And I think about 8 weeks later, when my bloods got retested, that had gone. So it's the reason I came in, and it's that thing that runs through all of these books, our intuition. Our intuition, the inner compass that we've all got. And if we just listen to ourselves, if we just listen and pay attention, look up, you know, going back to what I said earlier, and stop going inward so much, the healing's there.
Okay, so I'm going to throw something out here at the moment, because Lou's just reminded me about Captain Jack Sparrow's compass. Everyone thinks it's broken. It's not broken. It's just because they're not following the intuition. Now, there's a scene in one of them, can't remember which one, where it says, what is it that you really want? The compass will take you to what you're really wanting.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to it. And that's one. So when I'm watching movies, I'm looking at the messaging.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the
Same.
writing.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is this showing me? What is it? And obviously I love it because, I'm a sailor, but I don't like it when the boats get blown up, because I'm like, no. Like horses, dogs and boats. If they're getting damaged or killed or destroyed in any movie, I can't handle it, because I'm sure I'm a wild Mustang.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's Montana or Texas. I think it's just where Ripper's gone. Anywhere Rip's gone in Yellowstone or Dutton Ranch. Friday nights, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, Rip's back. Yellow. So, what song are you putting with that book then, Louise?
So this is a really different song from the others. This one's called Breakfast in Soweto by Prince KB. And for me, this song is sunshine, it's rhythm, it's uplifting. And it's just, I imagine Harold Fry, I'd love to imagine at some point when he's travelling and walking that he just breaks into this dance, because it will make you want to dance.
Okay, let's clear the decks. We're going to be raving in the studio in a second. And I think I figured out why I couldn't play the last one through the phone. But yeah. But I do love this, because someone said to me when I was travelling, have you read this book?
It's a brilliant book.
And they were like, because it reminds me of you.
Yeah.
Because you have because even when I'd arrived somewhere, I had nowhere to stay.
Yeah.
And they're like,
wonderful.
How does that?
Absolutely wonderful.
And I was like, but when you're sailing, you could be a couple of days early, depending on the wind.
Of course.
You could be a few days late, depending on the wind.
Of course.
Or the storms. And you might have had to have gone around a storm.
Yeah.
So you might end up a week late. There's no point booking accommodation,
Not
but
at
you
all.
just have to trust the process.
Trust the process.
That it's all going to come out. So on that note, let's trust the process, and let's see if Dawn's got it together on the Literary Lounge with technology. Here we go, folks. So off for phone, that's off, and that's up, and these are down. Let's go. There we go. That was such a cool tune. Loving that. So that's going on Dawny's favourite list, because obviously we know I've got lots of favourites. I'm a bit like Bruce Forsyth, who actually, incidentally, I will let you know, taught me how to play golf with a soup ladle. But
No way.
Yeah, he did. I was, so back in my catering days when I was a student, learning how to, so I wanted to learn, I knew I'd have my own business, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't want to do business studies. So I did hospitality and catering management, because one included how to run a hotel, which is a business.
Yeah.
Also taught you how to be a head chef.
Brilliant.
And you got to travel.
Bliss.
So tick, 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 work smarter, not harder. Always been the motto for my life. And we were at the PGA Golf Championships in Wentworth.
Wow.
And I was in the VIP suite, obviously. And there was Bruce Forsyth with his beautiful wife.
Oh, she's stunning.
And they're such stunning people.
Yeah.
And they started collecting all the plates and organised them all for me as soon as they'd finished eating. And then Bruce overheard me say to somebody, "Oh, look, that person's winner's got the most points." He goes, "No, darling, that's not how it works here." And took me by the hand.
way.
Took me by the hand into
Oh,
the
wow.
back, grabbed the soup ladle. The closest thing we could.
I love
and he
that.
stood there with me teaching me how to do the
That is
swing and
brilliant.
everything, yeah.
What a claim to fame that is.
Oh,
I
I
love
got
that.
loads of them, darling. Anyway, so the next book we've got, and if you are resonating, I know we're upon the half an hour. I've got the ads all lined up. So I'm just gonna give you the telephone number or the text message number, and then play the ads. The number is 07354 770 And now it's time for the green ads. Not the pink or the brown or the blue, the green. No, she doesn't need. We were just discussing why we both love radio, being here on the radio and books and amplifying others. We're not the ones that like to be in the spotlight.
Yeah.
We like to be the ones helping others.
Absolutely.
And like with my work, I'm amplifying the voices of people that don't have a voice.
Yeah.
So with my last book, I can't say latest book, although it was the last book, that was all about giving a platform for 6 other women that have never shared their story. And the interesting thing about this is after they'd both, 2 of the ladies had written their stories, both wanted to be mothers, but both had issues with their mothers in one way or another. And if you read the stories, you'll know who. But both of those ladies have gone on to get pregnant and give birth.
Oh, wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
So Amanda and Neve, congrats on becoming mamas.
Oh, that's exciting.
Neve gave birth
Oh,
2 days ago
wow.
when I was at. So, as some of you might know from my previous, if you've been listening a while, you'll know that last year my journey began with get out of bed and stay out of bed. Get out of bed, stay out of bed, attend a Zoom. Get out of bed, stay out of bed, attend an in-person event.
Yeah.
My friend Jessie invited me to the Ghana match at Cardiff City Stadium.
Wow.
And I just said yes. And then I didn't think about it until we were almost there and I could see all these people. I was thinking, I'm going to get so overpeopled. I'm going to get so overpeopled. And I was like, actually, no, you're not. You're going to be okay. Jesse's a big dude. Like, you know, nothing was going to happen to me. Like, he's like my big brother, you know. And I had the best time. I'm not Welsh. I'm not Ghanaian. Although we have established I am Welsh and I do have Welsh ancestry. But it was so wonderful being in the Ghanaian end. And I predicted when the goals were going to be scored.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, amazing.
I didn't know that it'd be 1-1. I thought it was going to be 2-1 to Ghana. Sorry, Wales. But what I noticed was we were having a party the whole time at the Ghanaian end.
Yeah.
The Welsh were just sat there watching.
Really?
They were so miserable. What
how
was up with
boring
you?
is that?
I know Cardiff. I mean Wales.
Get a grip.
Yeah, just we had the
usually
bongos.
well known for being the ones that are more
Oh
alive.
well, the Ghanaians, and then we went to this restaurant on I think it was like Cathedral Street or City
Cathedral
Road.
Road,
And we went to the El Mandelo African restaurant because it was
nice.
the only one open.
I can imagine.
But I have
bet
to
that was
say
stunning.
this: what is wrong with opening up? I don't understand it. The Cardiff Bay, because we thought we'll go back into the bay, into Mermaid Key.
Everything's
We'll have
closed.
something to eat. Everything was closed.
It does. It's weird.
It's 10:00.
Yeah, it's weird.
You've got people just kicking out of the Millennium Galleries. Not Millennium Galleries. I think I'm back in Sheffield. The Millennium Theatre.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You've got shows are ending.
Yeah.
It would be a perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
Everywhere was closed.
Oh, what a shame.
You're a capital city, Cardiff.
We need to wake up and stay awake longer.
I
I always say that after coming back from London. It's why I love London, because I come back and go,
We
God,
go
we're sleeping.
out of
Exactly.
But if
out
you
later,
go
don't
down
you?
Cathedral Road,
It's
oh my
better.
gosh,
It's
the
more
vibe,
alive, isn't it?
Yeah, the
Yeah, it's good
energy.
fun.
We didn't leave and the food from Auntie went
Stunning. Yeah,
definitely going back there again.
You know what you say about the Ghana energy, though? You take me back to a brilliant memory. I think it was Rugby World Cup. I think it was year 2000. So your listeners will know more than me. And it was France, Australia playing the final. And we were in the Oz Bar in Cardiff, which is gone now, many years ago. And we're in this bar. And originally, being Celts, we were like, we're going to support the French today.
Yeah.
And the cockerels on the pitch, and we got all excited. So we were sat with the French. But halfway through, and I don't know whether it was the alcohol, probably, and my personality, but the Australians were having so much more fun and singing Waltz and Matilda.
Yeah.
So that's it then. I realised France were losing. I jumped on the Australian side because they were having way more fun. And I was like, teach me how to sing. So we ended up then singing Waltz and Matilda. They won, and we'd literally moved sides just because they were having more fun.
Yeah, more energy.
More energy.
It's all about the energy.
And I actually set a car alarm off on the way back home in Barry, shouting Waltz and Matilda at the top of my voice and set off a car alarm. My claim. I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, I would be. Me, I'd probably fallen over and hit it and set it off that way. So what's your next book then, Louise?
So my next book, again, and do you know what? It's fascinating seeing these books and thinking, my goodness, I didn't think I had a theme, but there is one here. This one is The Diary of a Magus by Paulo Coelho, and he's written, obviously, lots of books. But for me, this was when I read it is significant because it was a time I felt lost. I was uncertain of my direction in life. And what I found was not just a travel story, which you'll love this, but a reminder that the path itself teaches us what we need to know. So the book explores personal growth, its spiritual teaching, and learning to trust the signs, intuition and experience, which is everything that we're talking about in our flow state this morning, which I love. And this is about, intuition is a powerful guide. If we learn to trust it, we learn to be with it. And what's most important is the answers we seek are already within us.
Yeah, they are.
What a revelation. As a healer and a therapist, I'll always say to people, yes, you might book a course of treatments with me. That's fine. And I encourage that. However, I don't want you still with me in a couple of years' time.
No.
Because if I haven't worked enough to heal you or help support, facilitate your own healing and find it within yourself, I've not done a good enough job.
Absolutely.
So for me, the book, it was almost symbolic of my own work as the healer, helping to guide other people back to themselves.
Yep.
And this book was guiding me back to myself because healer, heal thyself.
Yep.
You can't heal others if you're broken yourself.
And this is one of the most beautiful things that I love about when people write their story.
Yeah.
Whether they're writing a book about their own expertise, their own journey, or like their own trauma, and I'm healing them through that. Because it doesn't matter whether they're writing a business book.
Yes.
There's always that healing on that journey.
Always.
Because when you write that down, you have to face that and honour that and stand by it.
Yeah.
But I always say to people, if I'm still working with you in a year's time, I will not work with anybody for longer than a year on a book. Yeah. Because that means we're not doing the work.
Yeah.
Like even the research, because one of the reasons why people hire me is not just to hold them accountable to get it done, but to help them with the research.
Absolutely.
And that's why I charge what I charge.
Of course.
And if you already have all the research, then it shouldn't take us any longer than 6 months to get started and publish.
Wonderful.
And it does make me wonder how so many coaches are, because I was at a coaching networking event, and this woman said, "Oh yeah, this client's been with me for years." I went, "What?
Yeah.
Why? We're supposed to be that good. We're putting ourselves out of work."
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like going into business for themselves. Yeah. We're always looking for jobs.
Always.
We're always looking for new clients. So if you would like to speak to Louise, or if you'd like to and work with Louise on one of her many fabulous healing journeys, or if you'd like to speak with myself, then there's dawnbates.com. You can go to that, and you can always find Louise on, we're not talking Victoria Beckham's younger sister Louise Adams here. We are
Gotta find
talking
me
about
first.
Louise Adams from Petals Training. So make sure you
you'll
get
find
that.
me that way. That's a good way to
Petals
find me.
Training.
That's it.
So if you want to work with Louise, make sure you look out for Petals Training on LinkedIn and on Facebook,
Yeah.
and you should be able to find her. Louise Adams Petals Training. And I believe I did some training. Okay, here we go. This shows you how archaic I am searching for things on the internet. If you put Louise Adams plus Petals Training,
Do I come up?
that would. Well, we can have a look. You tell us about your next book, and I'll see if this works.
Oh, I love that.
Because I didn't know that if you put the plus in. So you crack on telling us about the next book.
Well, this is still Diary of a Magus. So I'm going to stick with this one because it's about being guided even when we cannot see the destination. So it's that thing, isn't it? We talk about this in business ourselves. You know, we're always sort of looking. Have you got it?
It comes
We're
up.
on Google now. Look at that. Oh, it's got my photo and everything.
Yes. So you need to do Louise
Ooh.
Adams plus Petals Training,
And
and
then I
there
come
she
up.
comes.
Oh,
my!
there we go. That's a revelation.
I really do need to work with you. You've only got look at that, man. I get over 27 million hits.
Oh, I'm rubbish.
I was absolutely floored by that.
That's amazing. I'd be lucky to get 2.
You've got 26 left.
Oh, have I?
We've got a way to go to get you to 27
We
million.
need to work on this for sure.
I will help you.
Oh, how funny. How funny.
I nearly fell over when I went 27 million.
That's incredible.
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
But then I did not pay attention.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention to the metrics. I
Yeah.
just put one foot in front of the other. I just
Yes.
kept moving. I just did what I needed. I focused on what I need, what my soul was telling me.
Yes.
Like, Dawn, this is where you need to go. This is what.
Yeah.
Don't follow somebody else's blueprint because that's their blueprint.
That's right. And well, this is what Howler Friday is. He just put one foot in front of the other and kept going. Same with the Diary of a Magus. You know, it's you love the books. Actually, you'll read them now and go. Oh,
I am
my
not
goodness,
going to
where
have
have they
any
been?
money next month. Do you know how big my TBR fund?
I might even gift you some.
Oh,
We'll do a book share.
I do. Okay. Oh.
I love it.
Did you hear the noises? So what song are we giving them for this one?
Well, this one, so Jerusalemo, which another
we
beaty
love
one.
this song.
It just makes me smile. It's just joy, isn't it? This one. It's just joy.
It is.
And gets you moving. So we will be having a bop again, no doubt.
I
This
do
is the
love
law.
this one. For all the right reasons. I actually played this when I was discussing Palestine, and you know the fact that we were having. Well, that was one of my very first shows, and I was talking about who I was and introducing myself. So it's in one of my earlier shows, and I love this song. But yeah, so here we go. Dawny's got it. Here we go, folks. I did it again. I managed to play the song through the phone. Getting excited.
Show
now.
off.
I'm getting excited. There'll be a hat trick soon. Okay. No, it was a hat trick.
It was
Football.
He did it.
And I just shared with Louise something that was said, and I'll actually tackle it next week on the show about something that happened at the football. A question that I was asked by a very handsome young man. He'll be happy I said young if he's ever listening. But I didn't tell him I was on the radio, so he probably wasn't. He's probably not listening. But so I'll park that for next week. I'll have to keep you waiting. Tune in next week. So what's the final book then, Louise?
So now this is interesting. This is one I've yet to read. It's called The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferris. Now this one is interesting because I love the concept, love the title. I actually bought this as an audiobook instead.
Okay.
So I thought, you know what? I travel such a lot in the car with my sort of training work and visiting different places.
I'd crash.
Honest to God, I had to pull over and go to sleep at the services.
Yeah. That's
because
me
I
on
realised that
audiobooks.
listening to audiobooks is so hypnotic.
Yeah.
I can't listen to a word they said.
No.
So I thought I'd bring that one in because I think the essence of the 4-hour week, my goodness, why can't we have that?
Well, we can have anything
We can,
want.
can't we? And it's this thing, and you know the same as me, being self-employed. We've both been working on the back end of our business, which is extremely dull. And for me, there's been, honestly, 15-hour days in front of a laptop.
Yeah.
In the dark, it was winter.
Oh, it's dark outside.
Yeah,
What happened? Who
exactly.
stole the
Woke up
light?
dark, gone to sleep, it's
Yeah.
dark. And for me, that's what, for all the healing work I do with others, and, you know, sort of teaching people how to get better work-life balance and, you know, get off the treadmill, look up, all the things I say almost as a second language for me. Do I do it myself? Do I howl? So recently I've taken some time out. I took a whole week off actually last week. I was...
That's why I'm in a parallel universe, because I actually, beginning of this week, I was like, when was the last time I actually did nothing?
Yeah.
And I went back through my life, even when I was on what I call, I'm putting holiday in air speech marks here. I've worked since I worked on the farm as a little girl. Then I had a paper round. I'd go to school after doing my paper round. I'd come back. Friday night and Saturday I'd work in the fish and chip shop from the age of 14. And then from the age of 16 I was running a 75-seater bistro all over the weekend. By the age of 18 I'm running a 200-bedroom hotel down in Eastbourne. You know, conference, banquet halls and everything. It was beautiful. And by the age of 19, I'm running someone else's business. 21, I'm running my own business. And I've not stopped. And people go, yeah, but you've just been on holiday sailing around the world. I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't. I was working on the boat.
Of course you were.
I'm, you know, I'm helming.
Working.
I'm, you know, I'm watch leader. I'm trimming the sails. I'm fixing the sails. I'm re-rigging it at sea. You know. Tunes on, obviously. Always got tunes on. And then if I wasn't actually doing something on the boat, I'm still thinking about my business.
Absolutely.
But this week, because I've just been so wiped out. You know, time of the month, and I am someone who, without getting too graphic, I'm very, very heavy, and it's very, very painful. I do not leave the house for 2-3 days. And so I was just like, I'm so tired. I'm just going to just do a bit, and I just thought, is this what? I've never done that.
No.
And I don't like it.
It's a different rest though, isn't it? Because it's an enforced rest.
It was.
It's a rest,
but on a cellular level,
well.
I was very busy.
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, I always say my brain's got 50,000 tabs open all at once. So even when I'm sleeping, I am alive in my dreams. I'm awake. I can actually guide my dreams, which apparently is called astral travel. It's got words for it and everything. But they're so busy. I wake up and think, oh, I've done a night shift. But I was saying to you earlier, I was in the Bristol Aquarium this week. It was gorgeous. And I was watching this little fish, and it was, if a fish could be me, this was me, zipping around, having the zoomies. So there's all these other fish, like, just lolling through life and just chilling. And then there's this one zooming around.
I don't know how
I was like, oh my God, that's me. You know, but even in the stillness, and I did have a week off last week, and I was in Champney Spa with my sister last week, sunbathing, beautiful weather. But even then, I was lying down, planning my next business.
So what would you do with a 4-hour work week?
What would I do? Oh my God, what a great question.
I think I'd go bonkers.
Do you know what? I don't think I could survive on just 4 hours work. Because
my work's not work.
Exactly that. And actually something I learned earlier this year is I'm a projector in human design. Rest is work. And for me, that's been a revelation as well, because I'm now looking at that and go, no wonder I get so flipping depleted. But in my resting state, I've created a business this week. You know, in my resting state and not doing much, I'm planning. There's always something going on, but that's okay.
I've been designing all of my dinners with Dawn for my literary lounge.
Brilliant.
And how we're doing it. But again, it's designing that model and then sitting with it. And I say I haven't done anything. I've been doing research by documentary. So I've just been like lying there, you know, hot water bottle on. And,
of course.
You know, but it's... 4 hours, it's just like 4 hours work.
4 hours of work. I mean, as a homeopath on its own, it's hours and hours with patients and writing notes.
But it's not just the time you spend with them. It's all the time after it.
All the time thinking, all the time wondering how they're getting on and what the remedy's doing and whether I need to lean back in or vice versa. So it's, 4 hour week, no thanks.
But it's interesting because you're saying you got it on an audiobook. I remember when the book first came out and Tim Ferris had got his blog. And it was then that I realised I was gluten intolerant. Because I read an article that he'd had a guest writer on his blog and who was talking about gluten intolerance. And this is going back when I just moved to Egypt. You know, gosh, that's nearly 20 years ago. And gosh, that's nearly 20 years ago.
Could that realisation hit you then?
Yeah, it really did.
Wow.
Because we're 2026, we're already halfway through 2026, folks. And how did that happen? But again, we don't have a watch. We don't care about time.
Exactly that.
Time is time. It's all the same in the
that's all
upside
that
down.
matters. The sun is out.
And I was reading it. I was like, all of these symptoms. These are what I've got. And I stopped eating gluten. And I could smell, I could taste.
Yeah.
My belly went because it wasn't bloated anymore.
Of course.
And I just, and this is one of the things I've been doing since I've been back in Britain and looking at where did I feel my healthiest. It was when I only had meat once or twice a month.
Oh wow. Okay.
And well, when I say meat, I mean red meat. Because I ate fish and chicken and mainly, but it was more a vegan diet than it was, and I don't eat processed food. I don't.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting for me in that sense.
Yeah.
So looking at that, but Tim Ferriss he's got some brilliant ideas, but I'd had that book on a PDF. And I didn't read it for years.
Yeah.
And then someone gave it to me in a paperback, and I read it in a day.
Oh, there we go. Now I'm the same. I've got the book at home. It's been sitting in the cupboard for ages.
Yeah.
I just haven't.
So
had
you're
time.
not interested in the 4-hour work week?
I'm not, am I?
Because it's sending
Clearly
you.
not.
It's sending you to sleep.
Exactly.
And you've had the book for ages, and it's not.
It's obviously just not flicking my switch, is it?
No,
it really isn't.
I'm glad you said Twitch. So we're.
I love it.
Right, okay. Well, we're coming up to the end of the show, and I am so grateful for you coming on today. And we were thinking about sending you out on a really big dance track, ready for the weekend. And then Louise said a song, and I went, I've been thinking about this for so long. And so we're going to end the show today with an incredible artist who changed so much, reinvented himself so very much, and is no longer with us. But I do want to say thank you so much for being here with us today in the studio, Louise.
Thank you.
I'm so looking forward to you coming back and doing this again with you. And I do think we need to get her on Radio Cardiff with her own show.
Brilliant.
Donna, if you're listening, I will be having words. But I do think that what you do is so very, very valuable. You are a light in the darkness for a lot of people, and you are such a joy to be around. And I'm so glad
likewise.
that I, like you, listened to my intuition that day and actually went, because I wasn't going to go either.
Same. Yeah, same.
But I was like, oh no, I need to go to that.
No, same.
And then I listened, and here we are.
Yeah, wonderful.
Having mad nutting moments together. But this next song is by an incredible artist, one of my favourites from back at my college days.
That's it. Yeah.
And it is... Okay, so I'm going to go through all of his names. He was originally known as Prince. Then he was the artist formerly known as Prince. And then he was Symbol.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, did you not know that?
No.
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my goodness, wow.
Yes, it was all of that and then some. But I'm going to do it. But thank you so much. And I'll be with you again next week on the Literary Lounge with Dawn Bates.